Hello everybody, and welcome to part 8 of my little railway build, where in this episode I'll be continuing the work on platform 2 of my station. But first, can you keep a secret? If so, stick around and I'll explain. So, the first question that I know you're all asking is, why are we looking at my wife's doll's house? Well, let me open it up and I'll explain. Right, now that it's opened up, you can see inside obviously. And let me just zoom in a little bit. There you go. Move the camera around to one of the rooms. Now, as you can see, each of them rooms I've got little lights in. And at the moment they don't work because we're waiting for a transformer. But she obviously, it was in my way where the railway was going to go, and she's put it on some wheels and lowered it down. And while I was looking around it, I found this. Now this is a fused connection that all those little lights in her doll's house plug into. It's from the Doll's House Emporium. And it gave me the idea because on my layout, as you saw in my last video, my wiring is a bit of a mess at the moment, and I need to condense it down both in the size of the wires and the space it's taking up. And I think this could be the answer. So I've nicked it. Don't tell her, but I've nicked it. So I'm going to be in trouble, I know, but never mind. Yeah, so I've been on the website, the Doll's House Emporium website, and you can get all sorts of bits and pieces, and I just cannot believe the price of them. This strip here, with all the wiring, that was, although it was on offer, it was just over £10, which is a bargain. You have to buy these little plugs. Let me just these little plugs here. Plug in. And you wire it up yourself. It's very simple. And also I bought this. Now that is a little drum of a little wire. Now believe it or not, there's 50 foot of wire there, and although it was on offer, it only cost me £3, I think 19p, £3.19, £3.20, which is nothing, isn't it? Absolutely nothing for 50 foot of wire, which is going to be okay for the wiring. I know they're both white, but if I'm using the grain of wheat bulbs in mine, which is fine, it doesn't matter which way around they get, you wire them up. And if you do the LEDs as well, if you put them in the wrong way, they're not going to work. So you just pull it out and turn it around and plug it in, and they should work. Absolute bargain. Yeah, so I bought 2 packets of them, 2 packets of these plugs. And the wire, and it cost me next to nothing. Hopefully that was going to solve my electrical problems on the first part of the build of my layout. I'll take you over now and show you what I intend to do and where it intends to go. As you can see, the first part of the layout is looking like a bit of a mess, a bit of a building zone, which of course it is. But my intention, what I intend to do is, with that little plug-in strip that I just showed you, is the foam insulation board behind the station, and I'm going to cut a piece out right the way down to the baseboard, and then insert the wiring connector in there, in the space that's just created, because over the top of that I can put the car park, and I can disguise it with a bit of luck anyway. I can disguise it so you're not going to know it's there, and that's going to make my life so much easier. What I could also do, instead of using the transformer, I might use 2 9-volt batteries and put them in series or parallel, and that should light it up nicely. And that will save the wires, too many wires anyway, coming from part 1 of the build into part 2. So yeah, I think that it's taken me a long while to think about it, but I think I'm getting there in the end. So with that in mind, let's carry on with the station build. As you can see, I've made a start. I've got some windows and doors through from a company called York Modelling, and I don't know if you can see it. I think you can. Yep. I've managed to find some windows and some doors. They're roughly painted and they're in place, and they're looking quite smart. I had a problem matching up with the paint, finding the paint to match the other windows on the other side of the building on platform 1, but I've got a close match. Might not be perfect, but I've got a close match. So that's going to go there, and these are going to go, hang on, that's going to go there, that's going to go there on top of that, like that, and then these are going to go on top of that. So hopefully you can see, yeah, so hopefully you can see the sort of effect I'm going for. I've had to make this bit separate. That's got to be glued on the end there. This bit goes behind the signal box. So yeah, I think it's coming along just fine. Right, as you can see in front of you, I've got a little bit further on. I've got the bits glued together now, and the front brickwork all in place. This is the bit here that I had to make up, basically because I forgot about it when I started, and I cut this doorway too near the edge, so I had to extend it a little bit. Luckily in the station kit you get a little bit of matching sheet, so that worked out okay. The windows from York Modelling, they're looking okay, and the doorway as well. So yeah, I'm quite pleased. You notice these 3 little holes there, there and there. That's where the original canopy was supposed to connect to. But obviously I'm not going to do that. So to get over that, these holes are going to be covered up with the beam that I'm going to make for the new canopy. So the lower beam will go along this, be this height and go along. So yeah, I think that's coming along just fine, just fine. That said, yeah, I'm quite pleased with the way that the wall's coming along. But what you've got in front of me now is a platform that is going to go on. Now, I've downloaded a texture from Scale Scenes of the platform service, which I think looks better than the original Metcalfe one. It's a lot more weathered, I suppose you call it, a bit more mucked up. And so, talking about being mucked up, I've mucked up, I think, because the wall is going to go about here. And then my pencil is, that's where the wall's going to go. So you can see I've got this expanse of platform now. It's about 60 mil, and that's because I made the signal box ramp too wide, and possibly this, but this has got over possibly the ramp and this footpath that goes down to the head shunt that's about 25 mil. But there's going to be a fence go down this side as well, so I'm not too sure. I'm not sure if that's wide enough or not, but the overall width is going to be too big. But I'm going to have to live with it, I'm afraid. I don't really want to start chopping the ramp about to narrow it, not yet anyway. I might come back to it at a later date, simply because I'm not getting any further on with the model. I'm not getting any further on at all. It's taking me a while, so I'm going to live with that for now. So yeah, I mean, when the canopy goes on, I guess that's going to be about 35 mil, so it's probably going to come out to about there, to about where the end of the pencil, about 35 mil, something like that. Yeah, so when the passengers get on board their coaches, they're going to get a little bit wet, but hey ho, it is what it is for now anyway. I'm just going to carry on and just see how it turns out, and if it does annoy me too much in the future, then I'll come back and redo the whole thing. But not just yet. Right, I know it doesn't look like I've done a lot, but what I've done is I've secured the whole thing, the signal box and the platform together on a bit of 1mm card. I've also stuck this footpath down onto the card, and there's some little doors underneath the platform actually in Pickering that I'm not quite sure where they go, but they're there, so I'll put them in. Yeah, so what I'm going to do now, this is the wall, and as you can see that's going to go something like about there. I'll just hold it up, sort of see where I'm going. There's big gaps at the bottom I've just noticed, but never mind, we'll sort that out hopefully. Yeah, so what I'm going to do now, I've got to have something to hold this up. As I said, I think behind here there's some buildings, be it toilets, waiting rooms, whatever, offices, whatever. So yeah, I'm going to create that little building now, just a 3-sided affair with a roof, and that'll help hold it up. I'm going to create that on Inkscape, I think, and mock it up in card, 1mm card. Yeah, and I don't know about decorating it. I don't know if just paint it grey or try and photocopy, because I've got another canopy kit, so maybe I can take a photo of it and reproduce the brick that way and print some out. You're not really going to see it, so I guess it doesn't really matter, but it'd be nice to get it as close as, or looking half decent really. So I'll try that and just see how it goes along. Anyway, I'm baffling now, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and take my photos and design my little building, and I'll catch up with you in a minute. Right, what you see before you is a screenshot of my design that I've done in Inkscape. Now, I mentioned Inkscape before, but I've never gone into much detail, so here goes. This is just the steps I take to create a little building, and not an in-depth guide, as really I don't know much about it. Only what I've seen on YouTube, especially from a guy called Michael, who has a scratch-built N-scale railway, and his YouTube channel is called Chadwell, and I suggest you really should check it out. Anyway, here goes. As you can see, I've created a little design. Basically, it's a 3-sided affair with a window on each end wall, 2 windows on the back of the building, and this time a double door to the back. The end rectangle and flap is just so I can fold it back and stick all the parts together after it's been printed out. Now, as you can see, I've printed it out, and it's just printed out on plain cheap paper. What this is going to do is give me a quick mock-up of the finished item, and it will let me know if I've guessed the measurements right, and if it looks about right when in place. So let's just do that. Well, there you go. It printed out okay. It looks okay, look. You see, it's just a flimsy bit of paper. That's obviously the bit that's going to go up against the station wall. This is the roof. It's going to look something like that. Now that might be a bit on the long side and a bit on the wide side, but I think that's easy enough to trim down. So yeah, let's go try it on the platform, and we'll see how it looks. Oh, there you go. I think that's going to be okay. The platform height that I cut out on the building, that needs to be altered a little bit. That's a little bit too low. So that's an easy thing to. That's an easy fix. Yeah, I think that's going to work okay. Let me just. Well. Oh look, the whole lot's fallen off now. No, never mind. There we go. There we go, something like that. There you go, something like that is going to look anyway. Yeah, that's not too bad. You just go around. What I'll do now, move it around to the front so you can see the platform wall when it's in place. There you go. That's not looking too bad. That's obviously going to be the building. Now that back wall on the paper mock-up, that isn't actually going to be there when I build it. But obviously, because I'm going to put some lights in it, so the lights will need to shine out of the door and the windows. Yeah, I think that's going to work just fine. What I'm going to do now is go back over to the bench. Right, now what you see before you is another printout of the same design that you've just seen on it, okay? But this time what I've done, I've stuck it on A4 sticky labels. This is a good trick. I like this one. I like this bit a lot. Now what I'll do is I'll take the A4 sticky label off its backing and I'll stick it onto this grey card, 1mm grey card. So that'll go on out that, and then all I've got to do is cut the windows and doors out and cut all the pieces and basically just stick it all together. And yeah, it should work out okay. What I've also done on the computer is, because in the Metcalf kit for the canopy you get this. I don't know if you can just pick it up. There you go, it's that. And it's again, it's a sticky label really, or it's an extra wall platform, wall edges, and the little white lines and tiles that go along the front of the platform. So what I've done is I've taken a photo of this, basically just on the brick wall, but you can do all the others obviously, but I've just done the brick wall this time. And what I've done with that is I've opened it up in a program called Affinity Photo, which I think you can get for, well, I bought it for 25 quid, but I think I got it on 50% discount, so it's normally around about 50 quid. A very good program. So yeah, and what I've done is I scaled it down. I cropped the image into just the bricks, and I scaled it down. I'll tell you what, and what I've then done is I opened that photo up in Word, and when you do that you can rotate it and flip it and do all sorts of things, but it also gives you a chance to resize it. So what I've done, I measured the height and the length, which height about 4 centimeters by 12 centimeters, something like that. So I just put their measurements in, pressed enter, and hey presto, I got a near enough exact copy, which I'll show you there. I don't know if you can pick that up. I'm not really going to pick it up because of the light, but that's not bad. And I printed that out on matte paper, matte photo paper. Now it's not perfect by any means, but it's not bad either, and I think I can get away with that. So I'll be able to wrap the building on it. I'll be able to wrap the back of the wall with it, and I can print it out as many times as I want. You know, and that's pretty cool. And what I also intend to do is the platform edges. I want to use exactly the same technique and print them out. I might print them out on paper, and then I'll stick them on the edge of the platform to finish that part of it off. So yeah, I think it's going to look just fine. Well, as you can see, we're back at the platform. I haven't done anything. What I've decided to do is bring this little part to an end, and because the time's getting on a bit, and I don't want to make it too long, each video too long. So yeah, I thought I'll bring this little video to an end, and I'd just like to say thank you for watching. So if you want to see me see how this progresses, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, or look me up and follow me in my next episode. Okay, bye for now.